You're listening to No Plot, Only Lore, a podcast about games and the tables we play them at. Your DMs tonight and every night are Josh and Kris. You can find us on all podcast platforms or check us out at noplotonlylore.com. If you like what you hear today, please rate and review the show and share it with everyone you've ever met. Welcome back to No Plot, Only Lore. We did it. We're finally sellouts. Let's talk about the hot topics of the week. All right, reddit.com. Sort by popular, all time. And let's go. What's our first topic?
Two girls, one cup.
That is one of the few internet horrors I've managed to stay completely away from. I've seen a lot of stuff in my time. I always managed to dodge that one.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen it around. I have fastidiously never touched those links. My hands are clean. Those links have always stayed blue. There's a lot of that era of the internet that I have clicked, unfortunately, for my eyeballs.
Yeah.
Goatsy in particular, I seem to fall for a fair bit.
So I think Goatsy is one of the funniest things you can do to a person, but it's been it's been done to death. And
have you ever goatsied me? I don't know if you've ever goatsied me.
No, I haven't goatsied you. I goatsied someone at my last job, which was funny and also made me realize it's now harder to find goatsy than ever before. I
haven't specifically gone out looking for it.
Yeah, I went looking for it, and I couldn't find it as easily as I thought I could. I could find more references to goatsy than an actual place to just bring up goatsy and shove it in someone's face.
Right. I mean, that's a very specific era of internet weirdness. That's like the blue waffles and
Tub Girl, Lemon Party.
Yeah, Lemon Party, Meat Spin.
Meat Spin
was huge.
Meat Spin's still out there and still doing the Lord's work.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to see a dick spinning real good.
Yeah.
Gorillas. Gorillas are kind of the meme du jour right now because Harambe, he came back.
R.I.P. Harambe.
No.
Yeah.
He did a Jesus. It's just been 6 years.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if a discussion about him was actually what prompted this ridiculous conversation happening in the zeitgeist right now. But I guess, we'll, well, I didn't want to just give our opinion on the 100 men versus one gorilla conversation, because the thing that annoys me the most about this whole thing being discussed is that the parameters for the fight keep changing. And I
wouldn't say that they keep changing; they just never really get set, right? The idea is very simple: 100 human beings versus one gorilla.
Right.
But I think one of the weird things about it is that we keep assuming that it's going to be a silverback. And even that isn't established in the premise. No. So every time someone makes a definitive claim about who would win, they always put their own weird spin on what the terms are. So I figured we should take our best crack at, first of all, defining the competition and then arguing the results. So what I was going to start with, and the prompt for this conversation was, what would it take? What kind of effort would it take 100 men to get one of them to fuck a gorilla? I mean, all right. I think we have to assume baseline.
Yeah.
That there is a percentage of gorilla fuckers just kind of out there naturally in the world.
Yeah, and that I think that what the first part of the fight is rounding up 10 of those guys to be on the back lines or ready to hop into action as soon as the moment calls for it. So that's
right. Are we going for bard seduction style, or are we trying to rape the gorilla? Which direction is this coming?
Okay, so again, this comes down to like setting the terms of the encounter. So my thought was, this is a dominance conversation about which species is more dominant. So the conversation that interests me is, what would it take to get to achieve one guy fucking a silverback gorilla against his will?
Okay. See, because when you pitched that at me, my thought was that we would be trying to find a human to try and seduce the gorilla, and what we would need to do to seduce the gorilla, like what bardic ridiculousness we would need to come up with. Like, are we putting on a costume? Are we doing like body language stuff? Are there pheromones involved? Like, how are we trying to get this gorilla to fuck this dude?
I think the versus implies a level of combativeness to this encounter.
Right.
This isn't like... This is a physical guy fucking the gorilla. Intellectual.
The guy fucking the gorilla in your version of this is a win condition?
Yeah.
Of the combat. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're assuming, I suppose, that the gorilla is not into it.
Right. At least at first.
Because I would also assume, and like maybe this is incorrect, I'm not a biologist, but I would assume that given the amount of overlap between humans and gorillas, there is probably a percentage of gorillas who want to fuck people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to necessarily make any accusations of specific gorillas, but like I would assume that there's a couple of gorillas that would look at a human butt and be like, yeah, maybe.
Given what we know about Coco the gorilla and her affinity for human nipples, I think, yeah, she'd be down. But in this case, I think it is a gorilla thought they were getting into a fist fight, and some guy in the back was like, I'm gonna fuck that gorilla.
All right, so we need 10 guys who their win condition for this is gorilla rape.
10 Alabama gorilla fuckers.
I think this might be our first episode that requires like a proper trigger warning. Like bestiality and some sexual assault.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
All right. You know what? I'm just gonna roll with it.
Now, keep in mind, this is not like fuck them to completion. This is a dominance display. The way dogs just kind of like hump each other. This is, hey, we're gonna show this fucking gorilla that we are the superior ape.
Okay, so again, like going back to the fact that we never actually set like full parameters on these contests, does humping the gorilla's leg and surviving count?
No.
Okay,
this is true dominance. There must be penetration.
Okay. All right, and it's the human penetrating the gorilla, or the gorilla penetrating the
human penetrating the gorilla. I assume several humans will be penetrated by that gorilla's fists before the day is over.
Yes, that is likely.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have established a win condition, which is that at least one human has to penetrate the gorilla.
Yeah.
I am assuming in the rear end.
Yeah. You go for the mouth, you're getting that thing ripped off.
Does the human need to survive?
No, actually, no. Nope.
Okay.
I would say a human needs to survive.
Okay, at least one human needs to survive this ridiculous encounter.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be the one that has achieved the win condition.
Correct.
Understood. Okay.
It's a team effort.
We have the parameters of the contest itself.
Yeah.
Now we need to start talking about how do we construct the encounter. Because I think one of the big things that we hear about with this, like with the original idea for this, is like, if you give humans weapons,
right,
we're just gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, humans are really good at tools. Better at tools than most animals are at being animals. And that has been a major survival play for us for quite a long time. Like we took down woolly mammoths on the fucking regular. Like, a gorilla and that's with like pointy sticks and shit, right? Like we are real good at tools. Yeah. So
we're the biggest tools in the animal kingdom.
We are the biggest tools in the animal, hands down. So with that in mind, I think that in order to make it the most interesting fight that it could be, because I'm assuming that this is like a sport, right? Like somebody wants to observe this, and it needs to have at least some drama.
Yeah, this is on ESPN 8.
Right, because like, if we just give the people guns, we've already seen what happens gorilla versus gun.
Yeah.
The gorilla just loses. If we give the humans pointy sticks, we already know what happens with pointy sticks. So, 0 weapons for the point of drama.
Yeah.
And then we need to consider like other equipment. Do the humans have tools available to them? Do they get shovels?
No.
Can they have a knife that is not used as a weapon?
No. I think even giving the humans like a belt is too much. Like,
okay, so no clothing.
No, they can be clothed, but like it's got to be like prison rules clothes. Like it's just enough to sort of functionally cover your body, and that's it.
For our version of the premise, there is a certain number of them who should not be wearing clothes.
Well, I'm sure like the backline gorilla fuckers are gonna like preemptively remove their pants just for like expediency's sake.
Right. Okay. So clothing is okay. Are they allowed to manipulate the clothing? Like, are they allowed to combine all of their shirts into a rope?
You know what? Again, I'm going to say no.
So innovation on tools, not okay.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You give humans any amount of supplies, they're going to make a tool, right? So I think you just avoid that as much as possible and try to make this man versus beast.
Okay. So we are assuming that all of the clothing is soft and you are not allowed to remove any of your clothing.
Right.
For the purposes of this. But the gorilla fuckers are pants free from the beginning.
If they want to be.
I mean, I guess it would make the running easier. Like, if you have to drop trow in the middle of your attempt to rape a gorilla, I feel like you're losing precious seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. What about terrain? What kind of area are we doing? Because if you do it in the forest,
right,
that again has a very different connotation than doing it on like an open plain.
Yeah, I think the forest that's gorilla home territory, and frankly, it provides ample opportunities for making tools. I think, like, for yeah, I think for the fairest fight, like maybe like the Wicklow Mountains in Ireland or like Saskatchewan, like rural Saskatchewan.
See, I have some concerns about Saskatchewan too. And the reason for that is because humans are also the best persistent hunters in the world.
Right.
Like, we will chase a thing down forever.
Yeah.
By the time other things have died of exhaustion, we are still jogging, which is mind-blowing to me because I am a 300-pound man who has trouble walking for 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that like there are humans out there who can happily jog for days is a concern for the gorilla.
Yeah. And I get that. There's going to be like physical preferences and like to each side, right? Like obviously a gorilla is just going to punch a hole through someone's sternum immediately. And that gorilla should lean into that. And lean into like this psychological terror of like, you're going to try and fuck me, but I am literally going to fuck you. Like it's
I was imagining
what's that?
I was imagining room, right? Like with borders and like walls. So like maybe like a coliseum-style.
I think that gives the gorilla the advantage.
Really?
Yeah, if there's less room for you to run away, because that's the thing. Right off the hop, like you just have to run and make them chase you and tire them out. right? If you can't get away, it's like a cage fight. Like they're going to close that distance, they're going to corner you and dismantle you.
Okay, see, we have a couple of options for starting as well, right? Okay. Like, if we have 100 humans in close proximity to the gorilla right at the beginning of the fight, advantage gorilla.
Yeah.
If we have both teams come in from opposite ends, though,
I still don't think that helps.
I mean, the gorilla has intimidation, for one thing. It's like, you don't want to be the first person to run up on the gorilla.
Yeah.
If you're the first person to run up on the gorilla, you're going to get used to beat another motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, like, the intimidation factor is there if there is room where you have to, like, approach the gorilla.
Right.
Trying to corner the gorilla in a round coliseum is going to be an interesting prospect. And, like, the gorilla's instinct to begin with is going to be run away. Right? Like, the gorilla doesn't want to fight necessarily unless it has to, and we have to, like, get to the point where it has to. So having them enter on opposite sides of, like, an enclosed space, I think, one, keeps the fight from becoming a chase.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we don't necessarily want to turn this into a chase scene where you're, like, watching a bunch of humans slowly trek after a gorilla for, like, 2 days.
Right.
And two, it encourages physical altercation because the space is enclosed, and eventually either the humans or the gorilla are going to need to get close to one another. And what happens then?
Okay. I guess. I hate putting an arena into play because it feels like every advantage of the arena just goes against people. I understand what you're saying about, like, forcing the gorilla to fight, like they're naturally going to sort of back off and try not to. But as soon as that, like, fight part of fight flight gets flipped, it's like game over. And if they can't get away from that, like, we'll just find ourselves in a stalemate with, like, 47 dead guys and then a gorilla on one side of the room and the humans on the other, and we're all just kind of staring at each other?
I mean, I would assume that has to happen occasionally. But if we assume, like, a football field-sized space,
yeah,
there is ample space in there to run away and, like, find different positioning,
I suppose.
And, like, I don't know what the average speed of a gorilla is.
I
need to look that up now.
I did look it up the other day. It was 20 miles an hour.
Okay, so humans are faster,
slightly,
than the gorilla, on average.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, if, like, you or I are in this fight, then the gorilla can catch us,
right?
And, like, you're a big dude, but I don't think you can take a gorilla.
No, I've never once said I could take a silverback gorilla. I've said a lot of insane things, but that's not one of them.
What about a brown bear?
Brown bear? No.
Yep. No?
Black bear? Maybe.
What's the biggest bear you think you could take?
The biggest bear I think I could take? Panda?
Is Panda technically a bear?
It's technically a bear. It doesn't want to fight me. That's why I think I can get it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
I hadn't considered it. They are very big. Okay, so yeah, I think that, like, if you have a football field space with walls around it, it doesn't necessarily give the advantage to the gorilla because you have, like, 100 yards to be able to run away and reposition. You'll have the ability to, like, run in and do strafing attacks. There's enough room that you can flank the gorilla.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Right, so like if the gorilla comes barreling at you, you can scatter to the sides and then run to the other side.
Yeah.
I think a football field's enough. I think if it goes to Saskatchewan, it just turns into a chase that we automatically win.
Yeah, like in my mind, Saskatchewan is like one of those like no edge arenas in Tekken. It's just I can see how we just sort of automatically win those.
Yep. Okay, so let's roll with the football field.
Okay.
I think also because like if we did it in the mountains, we have like rocks and trees and shit.
Yeah, like, and that's
kind of the same problem that we have.
Pick up a bigger rock than you are, and you're going to be jam.
Even then, like too much opportunity for humans to build tools.
Yeah.
Right, like if you're off in the mountains, then you can hide in like a crevice somewhere and fashion a spear out of something. Might not be a great spear, but you can definitely sharpen a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go with the football field. Is there a time limit?
Ooh, time limit hurts us a lot.
Yes.
What's a long enough time limit? I tell you what. I think we put a time limit on it, but it's a pretty long time. I think you get like 72 hours.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Like for one thing, nobody's sleeping. Like if the gorilla sleeps, then the gorilla gets fucked.
Yeah.
You do a sneak attack, you fuck the gorilla, and you peace out.
Yeah.
If the humans sleep and the gorilla doesn't, then, I mean, again, I think the gorilla's instinct is generally to stay away from us and try and like protect rather than attack.
Yeah.
But if it already feels threatened and people go to sleep, then it may choose to attack preemptively.
I don't think there's a scenario where it ever preemptively attacks.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think
like, not gorilla, unless it felt.
I think it's putting its ass in a corner and watching, and then as soon as it sees us settle down, it goes to sleep. Because most animals can sleep in smaller chunks than us and just like keep an eye on the situation.
And the gorilla probably, like, actually, I don't know how good gorilla hearing is. I'm assuming better than ours.
I don't think it's any particular special thing. I think they hear just as well as we do. I don't think they're better.
I feel like sneaking up on a sleeping gorilla sounds harder than it might be.
Oh, I'm not saying it's easy for sure. I think
I'm saying that it might be easier than I'm thinking it is.
Yeah, I think it is easier than you think it is, but I don't think it's like an easy thing to do.
Right. And the humans are all wearing soft clothes that don't jangle. They don't have any tools.
Right.
So that does lend itself to an attack in the middle of the night. Plus, like, humans are better at strategizing than a gorilla would be. So, like, there is every possibility that some of the humans or, like, a group of the humans are like, okay, hold up.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to go do stupid shit and get killed.
Yeah.
We're going to hold off and wait until the gorilla goes to sleep. And then Jeremy's going to fuck the gorilla.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like it's one of those things where you all sort of like plan your fake sleep in like a perimeter, knowing that the second that gorilla actually falls asleep, all 50 of you are jumping on him and going for your win.
Yeah. Yeah, because like, I don't think that even in a group we have enough weight on the space that's available to be able to pin the gorilla down.
Right.
Right. Like gorillas are freakish strong.
Yeah.
So even if the gorilla is like sleeping face down and we have as many people as we can on the shoulders and the arms, I still think that gorilla gets up and kills some people.
Right. For sure.
So, like, yeah, I think probably the simplest solution to this, like, how many gorilla fuckers do we have? Do we agree on a number?
10? I said 10.
Okay. And it has to be those 10? Like, if all 10 of those people die, can another person step in and be like, I will fuck the gorilla?
Yeah, I don't think this is like... I don't think you're, like, role locked. I just think you need 10 specialists, you know?
Okay. 10 people who have this not as a thing that has been thrust upon them, but a thing that they will thrust upon the gorilla. Okay.
Yeah, because you need guys who you know are, like, they're hard in the moment and ready to go. Because you can't be, like, waiting for a guy to, like, okay, well, you're like, someone doesn't want to be, like, picked out of the crowd and be like, you have to fuck the gorilla now and not be ready for it, right?
Right. Because, again, we're wasting precious seconds, like, trying to get...
You might only have 5 seconds to get in there.
Right. Okay. This is easily one of the stupidest things I have ever imagined. Just, like, a bunch of dudes dicks out, half-mast, sneaking up on a gorilla.
What is the fact that, like, this probably doesn't crack my top 5 say about me?
Not great things, Josh.
I know. I spent too much time on the internet at the wrong time in my life.
How's therapy going?
I should go back. I really should.
Okay. So anyway, I think we've essentially cracked it, is that, like, depending on the number of gorilla fuckers that we have,
yeah,
you have that many chances to sneak attack the gorilla.
Yeah.
I am fairly certain that a 1 in 10 chance of, like, a sneak attack. Well, maybe, because then, like, after the first one, the gorilla's going to be suspicious.
For sure. Now he knows what's up.
Yeah. Yeah, that might not work in succession. Like, obviously the gorilla is going to be exhausted and try and sleep when it can.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much of an advantage that gives us if the gorilla is suspicious.
I would say, like, most... I don't know if it... Okay, it'll be slightly more suspicious than the average wild animal, but when it comes to, like, interactions with humans, I think most wild animals, like a gorilla, are already pretty suspicious. Like, until we earn their trust, they're like, hey, I don't know what you are.
Yeah, I'm thinking mostly along the lines of, like, trying to sleep when you can, though. Like,
yeah.
Once you have disturbed an animal's sleep, they are less likely to sleep around you until they absolutely have to.
Yeah.
But then that might work in our favor, too, where, like, the gorilla is so exhausted that it just falls asleep and can't wake up.
Yeah.
So we wait for exhaustion to roofie the gorilla. Hey, thanks for making it all the way through this episode of No Plot, Only Lore. If you're looking for more, you can always find us at noplotonlylore.com and on all the very best podcast platforms. If you like what you heard today, please share, rate, and review the show to feed my never-ending need for attention and validation.